Hi everyone, my name is Miss Shakimia, and I'm going to be your partner in learning for the next few lessons. I don't know about you, but I love working together with others because I get to grow my brain and learn from everyone around me. I hope that we can have fun and grow our brains together. Have you ever been reading a story and all of a sudden you come to a word that you don't know? That's happened to me before, and I'll let you in on a little secret. It still happens to me as a grown-up. It happens to everyone, and that's okay as long as you have some strategies for what to do when you figure out what that unknown word means. One way we try to figure out what the word means is by using the context around the word to inform our thinking and to help us determine which words have effect on the overall meaning in a text. Today, we will be learning how to use context clues to help us figure out what the unknown words mean. Context clues are words or groups of words that surround the unknown word, giving us clues that help inform our thinking. We can use context clues in a sentence or paragraph to determine the meaning of an unknown word in any type of text. There are different types of context clues, but for today's purposes, we're going to focus on these two types. Examples, which means that the author gives us an example of the word within the sentence, and definition. And that means that the meaning of the word is explained by the other words around it. We can use these clues to help us make inferences about the meaning of unknown words in any type of text that we read. Now that we know all about the two different types of context clues, let's discuss a 4-step process for determining the meaning of unknown words. When we're reading and we get to a word that we don't know, but the word impacts the meaning of the text, we have to use the context around the word to guide our thinking, helping us figure out its meaning. So the first step is to stop and identify the unknown word. Step 2 is to use the context around the word to help guide our thinking. As to what the word means, we want to ask ourselves, what clues can we gather to figure out the meaning? Step 3 is to make an inference of what we think the word means based on the context clues surrounding the unknown word and what we already know. And finally, step 4 is to check our inference or word meaning in context. This means that we must read the sentence again, but this time substitute our inference or word meaning to see if it makes sense in the text. Phew, I know I just said a mouthful, but the more we practice these steps, the easier and quicker the process will be. So let's get to it, shall we? Let's practice identifying unknown words and using the context around them to help inform our thinking as we read an excerpt from one of my favorite fables titled The Wind and the Sun. As I read the first paragraph, I want you to follow along and keep your eyes peeled for 3 words I have identified as our unknown words. These words will appear in bold print. Remember, our first step is to do what when we come to a word we don't know? That's right, stop. I want you to signal me to stop by clapping your hands twice when you hear me say the first bold word. Here we go. One beautiful day in the park, the sun and the wind were having a chat. The wind boasted, "I am so much stronger than you." What was that? Did you clap twice? That's right, the word boasted is in bold. So let's try to figure out the meaning of this word. That means we are ready for step 2. What do we do after we identify the unknown word? That's right, we use the context around the word to help guide our thinking as to what the word means. In this case, the author is using an example as a context clue to help us understand boasted. Since the wind is quoted as boasting, "I am so much stronger than you." So now that we've identified a helpful context clue, it's time to move to step 3. What do we do in step 3? Right, we make an inference using the context clues and our own knowledge. I know that if someone says, "I am so much stronger than you," they are trying to brag. So I think boasted means to brag, which is my inference. Now, let's move to step 4 of our process and check my inference. I want you to reread this sentence out loud with me and to substitute bragged for boasted. If the sentence makes sense, show me a thumbs up. If it doesn't make sense, show me a thumbs down. Are you ready? Let's start. The wind bragged, "I am so much stronger than you." Does this sentence make sense? I see lots of thumbs up. That means my thinking was correct. Now it's your turn. We're going to continue reading through this paragraph together. We will begin reading at the third sentence. While I'm reading, I want you to yell, "Stop!" when I get to our next bold word. That way we will know it's time to stop and use our 4 steps to help us figure out what that word means. What are you going to do when you see a bold word? That's right, stop. Here we go. The sun just smiled politely, but did not say a word. Since you don't believe me, let's have a competition to see who's stronger, said the wind, flexing its muscles. The sun reluctantly nodded his head in agreement. Wow, you all are on the ball. You noticed that agreement was in bold. This means that we've completed step 1 and have identified an unknown word. Well, you know what that means. It's time for step 2. We need to look for some context clues to better understand our unknown word. So let's reread the sentence. The sun reluctantly nodded his head in agreement. Let's use the context around the word to help guide our thinking as to what that word might mean. Once again, the author has given us clues by using an example. What did you notice? I think you're right. The text says that the sun nodded its head. Now we're going to move to step 3 in our process and make an inference about what this word means based on the context clues and what we know. What do you know about what it means when someone nods their head? Exactly. That usually means that they are saying yes to something. So if the sun was nodding in agreement, that means she was saying yes to the competition. Now, let's check our thinking in step 4 of our process. You reread the sentence and substitute our understanding of the word's meaning in the sentence. If the sentence makes sense, show me a thumbs up. If the sentence does not make sense, show me a thumbs down. Ready? Go. Great! I heard many of you say the sun reluctantly said yes to the competition. And then I saw you give me a thumbs up. You all are excellent context clue finders. We have one more word to define, so let's keep going. Let's pick up where we left off in the text. Remember to yell "Stop" when you notice the bold word. Ready? Let's read. At that moment, they saw a man wearing a jacket out for a stroll, a very slow walk to get some fresh air. Great job! You noticed stroll. Since we've identified stroll as our unknown word in step 1, now it's time for step 2. Use the context around the word to help guide your thinking of what the word means. Here's the sentence again. At that moment, they saw a man wearing a jacket out for a stroll, a very slow walk to get some fresh air. What context clues did you notice that help you understand the word stroll? Right, after the word stroll, the author includes a definition. A stroll is a very slow walk. When the author provides us with a definition for an unknown word in a text, that really helps us out because we can skip step 3 of our process. We don't need to make an inference about what the word means because we already know its meaning thanks to some extra information from the author. So on to step 4. We need to check our word meaning and context. Let's read our sentence together. At that moment, they saw a man wearing a jacket out for a slow walk to get some fresh air. Give me a thumbs up if you think this sentence makes sense, and a thumbs down if it doesn't. Awesome, I see lots of thumbs up. So we know that the author was helping us understand the word stroll by providing us with a context clue definition of a very slow walk. You all are becoming pros at finding context clues for unknown words, which means that we've accomplished our goal for today. So now we get to celebrate. I'm going to count to 3 and we're all going to kiss our brains, just like this. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Today, we learned how to use context clues to determine the meaning of unknown or confusing words. We learned some of the different types of context clues that we can use to help us. Then we used 4 steps to infer the meaning of each word. Remember, one of the most important steps is to check to see if your inference or word meaning makes sense when substituted in the sentence. You can use this 4-step strategy with unknown words in any text that you read. You are well on your way to becoming even better readers and thinkers. Thank you for letting me be your partner in Learn today. Until next time, see ya.